Well, here we are for our historic second video in the south of France. And I just stopped here by accident because we're at the side of an interesting river. And you know what that reminds me of? Many years ago, I took a trip to the Holy Land. You know what that is? That's called like Jordan and Israel and places like that. Well, anyway, when I got there, I was expecting to see a great big river Jordan, because Christians are always saying, yeah, I want to cross the river Jordan, stuff like that. But when I got to the river Jordan, you see this river here? This river is the Mississippi, or the Amazon compared to the River Jordan. The River Jordan is the little weeniest creek you ever did see. And now it feeds into the Lake of Galilee, and that's also pretty small, but it's pretty easy to walk on the water there because it's very shallow, see? Well, anyway, I wanted to show you that here in France, we have a much better river or rivers than Jordan, because this is a real river. It has water in it, but that River Jordan is so little, man. I bet there's a fish in it, but not room for too many. Okay, now we're going to keep on walking here in beautiful Riviera. Actually, this is the less beautiful part of it because we just parked the car in a parking lot and we didn't know exactly what we were going to do today. But you know what? I'm going to talk about happiness. Now, poor people always write that money, it doesn't bring happiness. Well, guess what? They are wrong. Wrong. Because I think when you're financially independent and you can live where you want, divorce your wife if you don't like her, and pay her what she wants, and eat what you want, go where you want. Well, that's nice. It's not, doesn't make you ecstatic, but at least it's better than being poor. There was a famous actress long before your time, dear viewers. Her name was Mae West. She says, I've been poor and unhappy, and I've been rich and unhappy, and rich is better. Well, that's our topic for today, happiness. Now there really is, oh, see, there's a sign. Now look, years ago, see that? No fires on the beach. Okay, we're gonna keep going. Well, it also says don't pee under the bridge. See? But anyway, see, if I didn't know French, I couldn't have told you that. Did you get that sign, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So here we are coming out in the clearing. Whew! Not so bad. We've never been here before. Now, happiness really is other people. And a famous French philosopher also said, hell is other people. But the truth is, you get more happiness from your good associations with friends and business partners than anything else. And look what we're coming up against. I can hardly believe it. Look who's giving us a little bit of a welcome. It's Joe Swan. Look there. Hi, Joe. Are you busy? You're having dinner? You don't want to pay any attention to us? Look. See? Well, there's a lot of swans this year. I heard they used to eat them long ago. I wonder what a swan tastes like. But they're so pretty, I don't want to have a swan. Okay. Now look, here's these people fishing. They do that in almost every country in the world. Now let's talk about hatred. Now, people say you can't be happy when you hate. Well, there's Not entirely true, because when you're in the military and you have a common enemy and your buddies, it's kind of fun up until you get shot somewhere. But but having friends and no particular enemy is more fun than having enemies and people you dislike. And there's a saying that says, when you hate somebody, it's like taking poison and expecting them to die. Ho, ho, ho. Okay. So here we are at the Mediterranean. Oh, my kid, he's pointing out a piece of something from a dog that you shouldn't walk on, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then here we are. Oh, you know what I promised you last time? Remember, I picked up a bunch of rocks and showed them to you? And I promised you that the next time that I took one of these walks on the beach, I would show you sand. Wow. Here it comes. I can hardly believe it. A partially sand beach. And I'm going to pick up some sand, and you can look at Mediterranean sand. It isn't nice white sand like you get in Arabia. It's kind of a dirty, look at this sand. Wow. Ooh, it's kind of more like itty bitty rocks. Okay, now we're going to go over here, and I'm going to take my much needed rest because I've been walking at least 1/2 of a block. And when you're an old geezer like me, you got to sit down and rest. And here's some nice people with a little kid on his iPhone. Oh boy, was that fun. Well, why don't we take a panorama of the beach? Okay, well, last time we started to talk about happiness. And the happiness is different things for different people, obviously. Now, maybe you get your happiness from gambling. Look here. In France, there's all kinds of casinos where you can maybe make money or lose it. But there's a saying in Reno that when you come in there and you see chandeliers and marble pillars and great entertainers, that the winners who walk out of these casinos with money didn't pay for all that. The losers did. And so, generally speaking, you're going to not make any money from gambling. But now then, another happiness is women. Well, that's mixed. Maybe the feminists won't like this, but some women are very nice and they're agreeable, and others are big nags. And especially when you've had a wife for a long time, boy, do they start nagging you for everything. Why, today she said I had to take this scarf, and I didn't even want to. And it wasn't hot. I mean cold. It wasn't cold. It isn't cold right now. I don't need this damn scarf. Here, take the scarf, kid. Boy, I'm glad to get rid of that scarf. Yeah, you wear it. Okay. Now, what other things bring happiness? Well, women don't bring happiness. Well, maybe 50-50. Okay. Gambling, no. Generally, you lose. But there's a story about pigeons. Pigeons are taught to hit a little button, and about every 10 or 15 times they get a piece of corn. But that means most of the time they don't get a piece of corn. But they're so happy when they get that one piece of corn that they go back to gambling. And that's what gambling is like. You'll lose 15 times, but you win once. Oh, it feels so good. I'll gamble some more. But anyway, I would not recommend gambling. Now, what else brings happiness? Any more suggestions?
Alcohol.
Alcohol. Well, alcohol brings me a lot of happiness. I always say that if you're drunk, you'll never be unhappy. No, I'm only kidding.
Food.
Wait, I'm not done with alcohol yet. Alcohol, well, you know, alcohol is okay, but I wouldn't stay drunk all the time. You know, just maybe half the time is good enough. Okay, now food. Now there we go on, that's something I love. I know people can call me shallow because all I think about is food and movies. Used to think about sex, but that was a while back. Okay, now, getting back to our, ooh, here it must be one of them Russians invading, yeah, there's one of those rubber ribbons, you know, those guys that are invading Ukraine, they wear ribbons like that. And so I guess one retired and came over to the Riviera and dumped his ribbon here on the beach. Well, in the summer, this beach would be full of people, but now, look at this, it's empty except for a few people fishing up there on the rocks. Now that probably brings them happiness, but it's kind of like gambling. Most of the time you don't win anything, most of the time there's no fish, but if you get a fish once in a while, it makes you happy. Oh, look way over there at the mountains. There's snow on the mountains. Now, even with this global warming, there's still snow on the mountains. And if you look a little to the left, there's the building we looked at yesterday from a distance. Isn't it pretty? That's by that student of Côte, the French architect. Okay. So now, alcohol brings happiness, definitely. Gambling brings happiness sometimes. Good friends, as long as they're good friends and they don't double cross you, they bring happiness too. Okay. What else? Food. I was going to talk about food. Now, if you have something the first time,
Get away from the waves.
well, we have to get away from the waves. The waves are too noisy. But when you have something really delicious the first time, then you say, wow, that's so good, I'm going to go back and have it. Which reminds me of the first time I ever had green lasagna. Wow. I said to myself, there's no such thing that was any better than this green lasagna. I think it's made with a little spinach in the noodles. And it has tomato sauce, cheese, ground beef. Boy, was that delicious. And I had it in a restaurant in a little town in Italy called Noli, N-O-L-I. And that was kind of an out-of-the-way place for me. I didn't go there very often. But about a year later, I was passing near Noli, and I said, you know what? I'm going to go back for that green lasagna, because that was the best meal I ever had in my whole long life. So I went in and I smell that baking of that specialty, you know, that green lasagna. And of course I said to the waiter, you know what? Your green lasagna is so delicious. It may be the most delicious thing in the whole world. Bring me an order. And a few minutes later, he brought me green lasagna. I bet you know what I'm going to say. The second time, it was good, it was all right, but nothing beats the first time. Yep, that's all I got to say about happiness and food. But let me tell you about my favorite food. I like roast lamb. Now, in France, where we live now, they call it gigot. Notice my swell pronunciation. Gigot d'agneau. Is that a good pronunciation? Say it your way.
Gigot d'agneau.
Oh, gigot d'agneau. Anyway, to make a really good gigot, you take a leg of lamb and you put it on the counter and you stab it a lot of times like you're a murderer. Bah, 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 bah. And after you're done stabbing it, you take little slivers of garlic, and you put the garlic in the holes that you just stabbed. And then you turn it over and stab it somewhere. Cooking is half the fun. Just like Cunard lines used to say, getting there is half the fun. But anyway, I just love stabbing that leg of lamb. Okay, now I put in a whole lot of garlic. If it was ham, I would put in little bits of cloves. Ham is good with cloves, but garlic is good with roast lamb. Now you put the roast lamb in the oven, and you put it at a relatively high temperature. What, about 350? 350. And guess what? You can put in potatoes in the same pan. They'll bake at around the same time that it takes to cook your lamb right. And now, in France, they always have green beans, which I can say in French, haricots verts. Anyway, haricots verts. And that is a famous French dish. And I like to do what the French call spoiling it, because I take English, British mint jelly in big globs, and I put that next to my lamb, and I cut the lamb, and I stuff that lamb with the mint jelly. Is it delicious? Wow! See this belly? You don't get that by not eating lamb and baked potatoes and a lot of, sour cream and chives. Now, here in France, they don't ever have jars that would be called sour cream. How do you translate sour cream?
Crème fraîche.
Yeah, crème fraîche is what they call it, but sour would be what?
Crème acidulée.
Okay, so there is no such thing. You can't buy that, or at least I've never seen it.
You can.
Okay, in any event, so there's something called crème fraîche, which is kind of a mild sour cream. Sour cream is what you get in America.
Mm-hmm.
And what I take is this crème fraîche, and then there's a little jar you can buy called ciboulette. Okay, ciboulette, or ciboulette maybe, huh? Ciboulette, okay. Which is what English and Americans would call chives. Now actually fresh is better, but it's hard to find fresh unless you grow it yourself. So I chop up fresh, or I use this little jar of chives, and I mix it up with the crème fraîche, and I put that on a baked potato. Now there is your dream dinner. Roast lamb, leg of lamb. Let's keep on walking here. Roast leg of lamb and baked potatoes, green beans, or if you want to be healthy and never get cancer, broccoli with hollandaise sauce. And that's a wonderful dinner. Now here is something a little bit interesting. I'm not sure these folks here are gypsies, but every winter lots of gypsies come with vans, see? And these could be, but usually there's so many of them that there's like hundreds and hundreds. So here's only a few. And they camp, and they seem to have a good time. I don't know how they make their money, fortune telling and stuff like that. Any more ideas? Well, I won't say, because this is a family program. Okay, let's go. Okay, now actually, for those who think that the French Riviera is nothing but beautiful, it can be pretty, I wouldn't say slummy, but it can be pretty ugly here. Here we are on the beach, which could be a very valuable place, but if you look here, the houses are nothing special. Can you see them? Okay. And here's people camping from all over the world. I wonder if we should say hello to these people and say, hey, we're doing a blog. You want to be famous? Want to do that? Who knows? They might.
Keep it one language.
Keep it one language? Okay. Okay, here we go. Well, now let's see, happiness. Oh, by the way, see, I talk about food and movies. I haven't even started to talk about movies. That's my favorite subject. I've watched 2 to 3 movies every night for 50 years. Can you imagine how many movies that must be? Wow, in the old days, I bought DVDs, because if you bought a DVD, that was even cheaper than going to the movies. And so I have over 3,000 DVDs in cases, all in English. A lot of foreign movies, but they're either dubbed or have titles. And maybe in a future video, I'm going to talk about my favorite movies and why. But for now, I'm going to talk about what's important. Now, you might accuse me, from these videos you'd have a good reason to, of being a very shallow person, not a deep thinker. Because a deep thinker would be thinking about the problems of the world and how to solve them. Well, I always say I'm the deep thinker in the family. I let my wife choose where my kid is going to go to school, and little things, what his religion is going to be, and what we're going to have for dinner, and where she should shop, and where we should live, stuff like that. She gets the small stuff, but I'm the deep thinker. I think about solving the problems of the world, mediating peace between Russia and Ukraine. That's the current problem, and stopping that fighting in Gaza. And I deep think about all these world problems, and I decide who should be the next president, Donald Trump or Joe Biden, stuff like that, because I am such a deep thinker. I think a lot about the problems of the world, and I solve them. Wow. So don't accuse me of not being a deep thinker. my kid will say I'm a deep thinker, not a deep thinker. Well, anyway, where were we? Any suggestions what we talk about next?
Cars.
Yes. Well, when I was young, hard to believe that I wanted to impress people, and so I was in the real estate game, and I made a little bit of money, enough so that I could afford a used Rolls Royce. But do you think that impresses anybody? Well, I thought it did, but I got more girlfriends when I had a bicycle than I had in the Rolls Royce. All I got was the expensive hookers with the Rolls Royce, and then servicing the thing was a big expense. And after a few fancy cars like Rollses and Jaguars and Porsches, I decided, hey, a car gets you from A to B. You should have a cheap car that looks like everybody else's car, the most common car in the whole country, which is what I have today. And I keep it 10 or 15 years, and then I buy another used one. So that's my take on cars. And maybe I can also add that if you're a big show-off and you flaunt your wealth with Rolex wristwatches and very expensive clothes, you think that's going to impress people. No, if at best it makes them jealous and envious, and they want to take your whatever it is you have away from you. So that's why these days I look like Poverty Pete. That's my nickname for myself. Oh, look, here comes a van. And look, oh, these are not gypsies. These are all the way from Poland. Look at that. See? So we got some nice visitors from Poland. Polish people are very nice. They're not aggressive. they're usually good Catholics like the Filipinos. They're very agreeable. Oh, see, I bet they're inside their van sleeping. But it's a little bit early for sleeping. What time? Oh, it's only 5 o'clock. Oh, look what's going by. Oh. You know what? That's why this land is not so valuable, see? We were looking over there at the fairly average apartment buildings, nothing special. But the reason that this wouldn't be considered a great location for building luxury homes is simply that there's the beach, a highway, and then the railroad tracks. And so wealthy people want to be right on the water, not separated. And that's why this area is not really upper class. So to continue on, I gotta think about a wham bam finish. How long have we been talking tonight?
18 minutes plus the other 10.
Okay, so that's about half an hour. I think small doses of me are much better than epics. So we're gonna cut in a few seconds here, and I'll try to think of a wham bam finish.
Yes.
Okay, well, we discovered some noise outside on our hike. There was a party going on, and it smelled like pretty good food, so we knocked on the door, and this very nice Filipino lady said, "Come up and enjoy, we're having a party." Look at that, what's your name, lady?
Bonita Angli.
Luisa, where are you from?
From Philippines.
Wow.
Davao City.
Oh. Are
Okay.
you having a party?
What?
Are you having a party?
Yeah.
Wow, well, can we come in?
It's my birthday party now.
Oh, I bet you're 39 years old too, right? Okay, well, we're gonna come, can we come in and eat?
25.
Can we eat some food? Are you
I'm 25 years old.
25 years old? Wow. Well, we're gonna come in and maybe you have some food and drinks for us. Wow.
Hello.
Okay. Hi.
Oh.
Okay.
Hello, oh, look at this beautiful women. Wow, what a...
Hi.
Look at
Good
that.
evening. Good evening.
Hi. How are you? Well, we heard all the noise outside. We thought we'd come in and see if there was a party going on, and sure enough, there is. Wow! Happy birthday!
Look at that.
Wow! Wow! Look at this decor. Oh, and here's the best part: food. Wow!
Do you live around here?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, we want to see. Oh, look, here's somebody else. They're just coming. Filipino time. Yeah, they said 4 o'clock.
Hello.
Oh boy. Well, I said I'd have a bang up finish for our video. And look at this. This is a real bang up finish. Wow, a big party. Wow.
Wow.
Where's the main hostess? Where's
The
Joy?
main host is because she was busy here cooking.
She's in the bathroom?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think we're gonna. What, are we gonna cut here at this bang up finish? We'll open it up again when we're eating the food. Okay. Thank you. Doesn't matter. We're pretending. Now look here. Oh, look at this. We were invited into the party. That's enough. Don't go crazy on me. Now this lady. What's your name?
Oh, my name is Joy.
She's so cute, isn't she? Are you Chinese or something?
Well, guess. You guess.
Cambodian.
Come on. You can do better than that.
Japanese.
Korean.
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 No, you're not.
Korean is not so bad.
You're too white to be Indian. Let me.
But mind you, if we do the checking, genetic check,
that
then
DNA.
probably I'm a mixed Indian, whatever,
Oh, okay.
Korean, whatever
Okay.
you are
But
telling.
what do you think you are? What do you identify as?
Well, I think I can identify me originally. as Filipina.
Filipino, wow.
Fun.
I bet you're from Manila. That's the only town I ever heard of.
All right, you can do better than that.
How about Singapore?
Come on, why are you in Singapore now?
Isn't it Singapore?
You get out of my country.
You're going far away.
Oh, Singapore is the capital of Philippines, isn't it? Okay, well this
Now
night,
you have to have a drink now.
Now-
Perhaps you will. You will get
now
better.
this lady, we understand is the mama of this lady, see? And she's giving the birthday party for her, for
My
her-
daughter,
her
for my daughter, yeah,
Wait a
yeah.
second. That lady, are you sure that's your daughter?
My eldest, yeah.
She's your oldest daughter. But she's 39 and you're 41. She's a miracle mother, man. She gave birth
I
when she was
am.
2 years old.
Imagine that.
Well, anyway, so we wanted to ask you, because we've made our first blog, we could put it on the TV in the background. Nobody has to be bothered by it. But then you would see my beautiful face during this party.
Right.
Would you like to do that?
Well, I think technically, I think it's a bit of a challenge to do that.
Oh, okay, well,
I think we should have a drink
Oh,
and
we're-
relax
cheers.
and have a fairy tale.
okay, well.
And
Well, anyway, I promised the audience a bang-up finish for this video. And what could be more bang-up than a party given by this beautiful Filipino from Singapore? And look at all these guests here. Wow, let's do a pan. And here's the birthday girl, age 39. And then there's somebody you can see from the back with nice hair. Okay, so long. Cheers. I'm going to drink this Filipino champagne. It's really good. Bye-bye.